let's get this started in a true crowd fashion. Let's take a picture. Let's do a big selfie here. I want everybody to raise your hands, smile. We're going to do a big picture. I'm going to post this up on Facebook, and everyone's going to tag each other, okay? Here we go. Hey, you back there, I can see you're not smiling. You over there, you're not either. Everybody raise your hands, smile, and nice. I already have it ready. I just photobombed you all. And it's now up on Facebook, so everybody tag yourself at Brian Kramer, Brian with the Y, Kramer with a K. That's facebook.com/Brian Kramer. Okay, so that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about crowd marketing and crowd sourcing, creating crowd campaigns. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about first and foremost is how do you define a crowd? One of the biggest ways that I like to look at crowd marketing is looking at the definition. So if you look up the definition of crowd marketing, the self is a complex system made up primarily of the concept of membership or non-membership in various social groups. The other definition, based on the personal values and morals of an individual, they will identify as a member or non-member of an ambiguous crowd. I have no idea what those two things said. What I do know is that if you take it down to the finest words, to non-membership or membership, to belong or not to belong to a crowd, that is what we're all talking about here today. Belonging as part of our social marketing aspects. So why do crowds make things catch on? That's what we're going to discuss during the course of this keynote here. Just to drive the point home, I want to do something really quick and then we'll get into it. What I'm hoping we can do is create our own little crowd wave. So if I can have somebody volunteer, I just need one volunteer somewhere in the crowd that can help me with this. Awesome. You are in charge of starting a wave, okay? And everyone's gonna take part in your wave. I want you to start your wave. I'm not gonna give you any instructions. You start the wave, everybody please follow her. The wave will continue back over here, and then it's gonna go back again, and you guys can go as long as you feel you need to go. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
Come on, people.
Woo! Did you see? Okay, so weak. So weak. We need to do this again. Go.
Hey. You have to go back.
Nice. Give yourselves a hand. Sir, we're going to need you to do a wave with everybody. No, I'm kidding. This is what we're talking about. Why when you're in a stadium, does a wave take off? Well, it takes off because one person starts it, because one source starts it. One thing creates the wave. It's always the impetus behind the one. And then it takes off because of the timing, because of whatever's happening, because of the atmosphere. All of those things play a part into a crowd, into a wave. So the same thing happens now when you think about a wave and how it happens. It's one person inside of a crowd that all they're doing is standing up and sitting down. And that's creating an entire wave to go around the stadium. Now, what makes it go around once versus 3 times and sometimes 5, 10 times? That's the exciting part. That's what crowd marketing is about. So when you look at the stadium behind the social channels, we're looking at social channels as the medium, and the idea in those social channels on this chart that Brian Solis has put together every year based on the social prism, there's over 750 social channels accessible to us. Those are the stadium. The disturbance is the idea behind that happens, that creates the wave to happen throughout all these different channels. There's 2 different sides to crowd marketing. One is dark, the other one's delightful. When you think about dark, you think about things that pop up at the very bare minimum, like when you're on at the very basic level, if you're on the web and all of a sudden a browser pops up and you get a pop-up. That's gotta be so challenging for any user to be able to have to deal with. Because immediately when you're on an e-commerce site and you're talking about how the you're purchasing something on an e-commerce site and that pop-up comes up, it disrupts everything that you're trying to do. So you veer away from it and go somewhere else. Very basic level. On the light side, that's what we're going to talk about here today. So I'm going to stay away from the dark side, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the light side. So first, we're going to talk about the Bat Kid. Who has not heard or seen the Bat Kid? Exactly. It's huge. Everybody has heard it. Not one person raised their hand in this room, I don't think. Nope. What made the Bat Kid so special is what I want to talk about here. And I want to start with the video so that you guys can see a little bit more behind the Bat Kid.
He's brave because he's battled a very adult battle, beginning at not even 2 years of age and battling leukemia. They're robbed of their childhood for 3 years. We hope to restore some of that, turning San Francisco into Gotham City and help Miles have a little bit of his childhood back.
Gotham City needs you, Batman. This is Police Chief Greg Sir, only hoping you can hear my voice. It's critical that you call me right now. We have a damsel in distress. But that's just the beginning, Batman. Just the tip of the iceberg. You have to call me, it's urgent. Please, Cape Crusader, we need you. And bring the Bat Kid.
I don't even know after 15 years that I can appropriately articulate what that power of a wish is like, but you know it when you see it. The attention on Miles and this wish, what San Francisco is doing is incredible. Part of the process of what Make-A-Wish does in planning a wish is giving the child something to look forward to. So during Miles' darkest moments of chemotherapy and being sick and hospital stays, this was a distraction for him to start thinking about when he was going to be Batman. It got picked up by a blogger and it just went viral, and as a result, the wish has taken on a life of its own. I don't know what scale a 5-year-old thinks of a lot of people, and he comes from a town of 1,000. I know when it works when I look at the parent's face and I look at the joy that they receive. He's in remission. He just finished up his last chemotherapy. It's one of the reasons the family asked to do the wish now, so he would have energy. Superheroes need a lot of it. I think this wish just really struck a chord with people. A lot of people remember from their childhood wanting to be a superhero, and here he is battling leukemia. And as far as I'm concerned, every child with a life-threatening medical condition is a superhero to me.
I love this, but there's one of the things that really got me going on this because it touched everybody's hearts. It was one of the things that made him human, that made the experience human for everybody to feel something towards this kid. And it happened before it ever happened. 2 weeks before this took off with one blog. One person posted it up and it took off with over 2,000 shares. And those shares then turned into over 70,000 volunteers, which then turned out into what you just saw. The wave that we talked about, you're going to see a theme with each of these case studies. It starts with one person, it starts with one share, and then it resonates from there. It happened all across the city as you start to track how they planned it. They had to plan everything across the board down to a map of where he was going to be so that everyone could follow this across the city. And it resonated. It resonated with people like Ben Affleck, who was the previous Batman. He said, "Bat Kid, best Batman ever." I'm not sure Ben Affleck was the best Batman ever, so coming from him, that's, I guess, pretty nice. We had Obama, and whether you have a political preference around him or not, that was pretty nice that it resonated again over, I think it was over 7,000 retweets from his Vine video that he did. And it's no fun if the Globetrotters don't get in on this action. So we had the Globetrotters also do something on Twitter. The total campaign ended with months of planning, 11,000 volunteers, seeded content on Reddit, over 70,000 likes 2 weeks before this ever happened. And the metrics on Bat Kids, including, it was 8,000 retweets from Obama. Airbnb is another great place. Anybody not used Airbnb yet? Wow, this is awesome. So you guys, well, first of all, you guys have to use Airbnb. It's such a great service. I'm going to use it again at South by Southwest. And it's all about creating crowd to crowd. or crowd to individual or crowd to human, because they're actually taking people out there, right, that are interested in renting, and people that are renting and matching them up over online services through social media and a website. Pretty simple and basic, but when you kind of look at how this is actually working with a crowd, it's pretty awesome. Has anybody ever seen this piece? It's a piece on how they took 70 vines. They curated these vines online with one question a day. They asked their crowd to create these videos based on one question. They got over 750 entries, pieced it together, and ended up with this. So pretty impressive that they could actually curate all these videos from everyone, all of us that want to take part to create something together. We have power, more power as a crowd to create than we do as individuals. That's what they're trying to show here, that we can create companies that can leverage the crowd beyond what we have at our internal resources. So the facts behind this campaign is that it's well organized, not rigid. It made their fans the stars with over 750 vines in 6 days. It was 322,000 views on YouTube and was retweeted by Ashton Kutcher to more than 15 million followers. It was also one of the most shared videos on Mashable. The next one is WestJet. Who here has not seen the WestJet video?
On the eve before flying, the guests were in their beds. Visions of traveling danced in their heads. While out on the runway, something secret had arrived. It was left in the lounge. 'Twas a Christmas surprise.
Is that Cohen? What are you looking for Christmas this year, Cohen? A choo-choo train? Ho, ho, ho! A classic! Do you like Thomas? And what would Mommy and Daddy like for Christmas?
Big TV.
Yeah, big TV.
Ho, ho, ho! A big TV! You're looking fabulous!
Well, I need to.
It's okay if you just want to stare at me as well. Ho, ho, ho!
What I need is new socks and underwear.
An Android tablet.
Is that William beside you? And Cameron?
Some Santa boots.
Stocking stuffing store.
While the guests told their Christmas wishes to good old St. Nick, WestJetters took notes and got ready to shop quick. It was a great rush with the 2 flights in the air to get all those presents. Not a moment to spare.
Sleigh bells ringing, there's children singing tonight. Lights are bright, I know it's a beautiful sight. Snowflakes fall in the world, it's snowy and white. Santa's coming to town, he's coming tonight.
Hey, Thomas, let's get it.
Christmas cheer and celebrations all across the line. This time of year of expectations, waiting for the man.
Thanks for flying with us at WestJet. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of your flight.
Happy faces were all so merry and bright. Santa's coming to town, he's coming tonight.
But was everything ready? We all had to wait for the moment of truth at Carousel 8.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Where's the Hughes family?
The guests never expected what they'd asked of St. Nick would actually appear. It was all quite a trick. A WestJetter would say it was more than mere fun. Miracles do happen when we all work as one. We'll give Santa the last word on this most special night.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good flight.
That was pretty awesome. So I brought a tissue. I see there's a couple people here. There you go. This was such an amazing surprise. And that's the element of surprise. When doing crowd marketing, it's the surprise, the element of surprise that sometimes, delights people. Again, this is all about being delightful, right? And when you delight people in an unexpected way, it really resonates. There were interesting aspects to this one because they actually tweeted it early in the morning and said that Christmas miracles really do happen and shared that out. And then the next morning they tweeted it saying our WestJet Christmas video had gone viral with over 1 million views in 24 hours. Find out why here. Now the first day they shared it, they had 306 retweets and 108 favorites. And the next day when they tweeted it, sharing that they had over 1 million views in 24 hours, it literally doubled the tweet. So now they ended up with 619 retweets, 390 favorites. So sharing along with your audience where it's heading, how it's working, what outcomes you're getting, that obviously resonate with the audience. So the facts are, it's a simple concept. Delighting people, unexpected, made it authentic through 175 WestJet employees and 250 passengers. And the overall metrics were 35 million views and 1,000% increase in subscribers on YouTube. Over 1 million shares on Mashable, which was a new record. This last case study is something that is really personal to me. I actually got involved in a crowd marketing event, a campaign, if you will, with my friend DJ Waldo here, who's an email marketing superstar guy. And he and I and our wives got together, as anybody does, over a bottle of wine, which quickly turned into probably more than one bottle of wine. And that bottle or more of wine ended up with a way that we could figure out how do we relate to people on social media and become friends with them. So we used this campaign as a way to test how that could happen. So this campaign here was designated all around Ellen DeGeneres. We started with all kinds of people in Hollywood trying to figure out who was the most socially acceptable person, maybe a little bit harder to reach. And Ellen was that person that we came up with. We did a 90 Days to Ellen campaign. It's still up. It's 90. It's down there at the bottom, 90daystoellen.com. And over the 90 days, we ended up with basically all this great content marketing that the crowds ended up putting together and helping us with. They ended up putting together things like memes that were shared on Facebook and Twitter. We had videos, over 100 videos shared across all videos and all assets, including some from Jay Bear. Ted Rubin, if you know him, actually did a rap. So if you go onto Instagram and look under his Instagram, you'll see him. He actually put together a customized rap for this. And then we had Robert Scoble also jump in on this too. We had, I think it was over 50 influencers that jumped in to try and help this campaign. The whole point of the campaign wasn't to get on her show. It was to get lunch with her and donate money for Feeding America, to which we raised money and were able to also express ourselves through social media. So the facts. We were able to prove that social can create real relationships. Unfortunately, we weren't able to prove it through building a relationship with Ellen. She never responded. She didn't tweet back. She didn't reply back and say no thank you. She didn't retweet anything. Nothing happened. So we learned our lesson there, that there's a lot of people out there that don't respond. They're just pushing content out versus having a two-way engagement. Lesson number one. What we did learn is that we got a lot of engagement, a lot of people that we met around the world that were very involved through this campaign, and we were able to prove that relationships did happen, just didn't happen with Ellen, it happened with everybody else. So we also encouraged restaurants to take part. We had all kinds of restaurants like Outback Steakhouse and Applebee's and a bunch of other nice restaurants take part in this, in helping to support the campaign. We had over 100 million impressions, over $1,500 raised to Feeding America, and a budget of less than $100 went into creating the entire campaign. So it's basically a dinner for two at $100, depending upon what restaurant you go to. We also won Content Marketing Campaign of the Year from Content Marketing Institute, which was really exciting, and a bunch of actually other awards that we're just nominated for. Going back to the whole overview of this whole thing, we had a universally human concept. We had a structured plan. We applied the rules of improv, which is obviously really important, especially in the Ellen campaign. Anybody that threw out an idea for the campaign, we created it as content. We never said no. We brought it in, created it, put it out, and they ended up sharing their own ideas. And we invited people to the party. Across all of these different things that you're looking at, everybody was invited to help and to crowdsource their content and provide support. So this is my last screen. Just one thing I'll leave you with. If there's anything that you guys take away from this entire presentation, is that this is all human to human. There is no B2B. There is no B2C. We're all talking about human to human, reaching out, having an engaged conversation with every single person out there as much as possible, and scaling these relationships as much as we can. And I wanted to thank you all, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you.